Hey, welcome to the first Rogue North video. This is basically a short pre-devlog talking about inspirations, the state of the project, as well as generally what I want the game to look like in the future. So let's go. Rogue North is a tactical shooter with survival elements, a focus on atmosphere, and deadly gunplay inspired by my favorite tactical shooters, Insurgency, Escape from Tarkov, and Nomad. The game is set during a Russian occupation of Canada. You play as an ex-CSOR operator who has been living off the grid as a hunter, trying to forget his military past in solitude. But the nuclear winter is growing day by day, and the Russian forces are well embedded into the region. You must survive against many dangers on a trip across the Canadian winterscape, among other rogues, and the shattered remains of the defense effort. Now that we have an idea of how the game feels, let's take a step back all the way to the beginning of the project. At the beginning of 2018, a little Russian indie game called Escape from Tarkov came across my path via JackFrags. The game was like nothing I've seen before. The hyper-realism of the guns, environments, gear, and combat was strangely really attractive to 15-year-old me. Tarkov gave me a sudden blast of inspiration. The inspiration manifested itself as crappy pixel art guns and animations, but I made them with the intention that if I got good enough, then I could make my own game that would give other people the same immersive and inspiring experience that games like Tarkov, Insurgency, and Stalker give me. Fast forward a year to the beginning of 2019 and I finally wanted to start making a game. I picked Game Maker Studio 2 as my game engine of choice and started to learn the basics. The first number of builds were simple. You were a dude with a gun mowing down terrible bots in small maps with the goal to make it to the end of each level and extract in order to get to the next one. The visuals were a mash of Enter the Gungeon and Nuclear Throne, and I was still learning the basics of game dev. It was a very basic game for a long time, but I was still extremely motivated. Over the course of 2019 and into 2020, the game was constantly evolving with each public build I released. There were more and better guns, enemies, simple pickups, each small new feature better than the last. I even made a whole separate game just to try and figure out how to implement gun customization, which didn't end up helping me at all. Anyway, after I put out the 13th public build in July of 2020, I still had no idea what I was really doing. I mean, I had some cool guns, bots to shoot, some levels, but that was it. I was still trying to figure out how to make the game interesting and not just another Nuclear Throne reskin. I had no real plan. So I decided to not post any more public builds and just focus on making a coherent game plan, then work until I have something that represents that plan nicely. So I made an early access feature list that I frequently update in my Discord server. While this plan changes quite often, it's the most solid thing I have to represent my vision while it's still developing. Currently in development, I'm going through a complete overhaul to many of the game's features, like the gunplay. I got redrawn weapons, weight, a pistol holster, and aim down sights. The AI, atmosphere, and sounds are also being continually updated. Outside of that, I've been adding new features like merchant camps, outfit customization, and a medical item quick inventory. There's still lots of survival game features I'd like to add, such as hunting, a decent inventory, and tons of enterable buildings, but I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, and stray too far from being a crisp tactical shooter. I'm a pretty new dev, and I'm aware of the scope of the project and the limitations of making a game on your own, especially your first game. So by taking things slow and not promising the world, I plan on getting this game into Steam's early access program sometime in 2022. Before that, I do plan on putting out a small combat demo whenever I finish the gunplay update. Until then, I'll be over here working away on making Rogue North into the intense, fun, and atmospheric shooter that I hope you all will love. If you want to follow development, or just want to see some gun animations, be sure to check out the links in the description. Also, I have a Steam page now. There's a lot of things that I'll change later on in development, but if you would like to wishlist, that will help me a lot. See you in the next one.